Good to go?
Yep.
This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. We're here at KSI versus FaZe Temper, but we're not talking KSI FaZe Temper. Adam Booth, how are you? It's nice to do an interview this week. Shout out to all my Misfits guys, but it is very nice to do an interview and not talk Misfits for 5 minutes.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And I hear you're doing a good job.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
And you're wearing a corduroy shirt, which isn't easy to pull off.
Stone Island as well. Do we like? Okay. I'll clip that out, I'm sure. I know. Look, let's go back to Josh Kelly. Just an amazing performance against Troy Williamson. I haven't been able to catch up with you since. I think there's so much to catch up with, obviously, now in the new year. Absolutely schooled Troy Williamson. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that on the record, but really showed what he can offer at the highest level and sort of not rolled back the years, but I think showed the hype of the years, maybe 2020, when he was dubbed as Britain's next best thing.
Yes, the Troy fight was a Josh starting to show what he's capable of, but he's capable of so much more than that. But it was him really just giving a taste of his natural style, his natural character of being an entertainer first and a fighter second. And it was fun, you know. We knew that Troy was strong and was going to be relentless, and that kind of helped Josh just stay in that flow state. And I'm pleased for him, you know, because it's been a long period of recovery from the problems that he had, and it's a nice way to kick into 2023.
Can I just ask you, on a personal level, what do you think should be next for him? Obviously, won that British title, move up to 154. What is the next move for Josh Kelly? Does he keep taking step-up fights, or how do you move him this year?
Okay, carefully, negotiations, picking the right opponents or getting the right fights. You know, now he's world ranked now, and it's now about solidifying himself as a top 10 fighter whilst building his brand and building his profile.
Let's talk about Mick Conlan. Matt was out there for us last time in what was just an incredible first-round knockout of Kareem Gurphy, who's now retired, and obviously send our best to him in what was a really, really good career. But next for Mick, I suppose a little bit, I've spoke to Jamie, I know they still want Lee Wood Lara has now been announced, but is it now just getting himself back and as soon as possible for a world title shot?
Well, he's there, right? I mean, he proved his level and that he belongs at world level last year in the Lee Wood fight. Since then, he's had 2 very good wins, and he's ready. You know, Mick's popular. He brings a following. He brings money to a fight, and so now it's just a question of waiting and seeing which fights get offered. And I know that Jamie's having the conversations now, but I said last year, Mick's ready now, and so we're just waiting to see if and when the right opportunity presents itself.
Something that I thought was really refreshing from Mick after the fight is he spoke about yourself and the team working on about throwing the right hand and being able to throw certain punches without necessarily looking for the power shot, but obviously creating the power. Obviously that was shown in the first round where he went out and he didn't really mean to bulldoze him, I believe, but went out and was able to sort of cement his power more than before perhaps.
Mick landed the elusive body shot to the head. If you look at, like I've said for a long time, that Mick's a world-class puncher to the body, and his power to the head is developing. But what actually happened, if you looked, he lands 2 straight left hands to the body, and he goes to throw a third to the body, and Kareem ducks into it. So Kareem actually took a body shot to the head, and I know how heavy Mick's shots are to the body, and that because at the time, for me, it was a strange one. I thought Mick had landed in the body and that Gurphy all of a sudden his legs are gone. And I'm just thinking, is he messing around here? But when we went back and watched it from a different angle, it actually catches him on the temple. So, and I know how heavy that shot is when he throws it. And it was, it was just nice to land the elusive head body shot.
On Harlem Eubank, he was able to get his first main event out in York Hall. Good 10-round performance against Tom Farrell. What's next for him? I spoke to Callis Howland. I think it's more making him a main event worthy fighter, keeping him active. I think he showed his class in that fight. Now just moving him and stepping up the levels into 2023, 3-4 fights.
Exactly that. Hopefully 4 fights this year, main event, and solidify himself as a main event and build himself up and his own notoriety whilst still evolving as a fighter. Harlem's improvements over the last couple of years have been phenomenal, And Tom Farrell was a great test for that moment in time because he came to win and he came in shape. And I just expect Harlem to keep progressing and keep improving this year.
Adam, just sort of on the world of boxing as a whole now, we've got what we expect will be announced very shortly between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Maybe Saudi Arabia, we don't know. Alexander Usyk very vocal on social media, and Tyson Fury not the person vocal, which is certainly a change. Do you believe we see this fight first, and how does the fight go in your eyes?
I do. I think normally it's Usyk's movement and rhythm that troubles the bigger fellas, but the thing about Tyson is that he's 6'9", but mobile with the longest arms in the division, and I favour Tyson in that fight. I love Usyk as a fighter. I love watching him, but I just think that we have weight divisions for a reason, and heavyweights is a whole breed of itself. And in that breed, Tyson sort of stands alone in terms of physical stature and ability to move, because you don't get guys that big with arms that long that can move that well on their legs, and I think that's going to be the problem for Usyk. He's just going to have a really hard night actually getting to Tyson.
And then just on Anthony Joshua, as a whole, he's moved trainers again, and I want to touch on that a bit, because obviously now 3 different trainers in what will be his last 3 fights, which is something that obviously when he's been with Rob McCracken his whole career, how do you believe that this will face him now with Derek James and the Errol Spence gym and everyone involved there? Is it manageable for a fighter, in your opinion, to chop and change coaches like that?
For some fights it is, for some fighters it's not, and you'll only know when it's all said and done. He's obviously making decisions that he believes and feels are right for him, and so credit to him for that. You know, it's not easy to make those decisions and to make changes, but if he is, I wish him well, and time will show whether the decision is the right thing or wrong.
Do you believe next for Anthony Joshua, the name Jermaine Franklin's been thrown about, Dempsey McKean's been thrown about? They've said 3 fights this year, often with AJ as 1 or 2, so 3 fights would be nice for activity, but does he sort of need an opponent where, not that he's going to bowl over, but maybe expected to win to get that confidence back?
Well, actually, if I'm honest, if the way you're explaining it, him going with a new coach and stepping down in level of opposition actually shows me that he's got serious intent in improving as a fighter and actually building himself back. He's got the name and the pulling power just to jump straight back into another big fight, but he's chosen not to. If he's chosen to step back, change trainers and go at a level lower than he's been fighting at in recent times, then kudos to him, because that shows to me that he's genuinely interested in becoming the best fighter he wants to be.
All right, Adam, I'm going to let you go and enjoy your night with your family. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us at Boxing Social. Look forward to hopefully you, your stable, having a brilliant 2023. Just a final message to people watching?
Listen to your interviews more, because they're getting better.
Thank you. Cheers. Hope you have your podcast soon.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see.